I'm Joseph R. Wheeler III, the artist, the founder, and the president of the ONYXCON Foundation. Welcome to another ONYXCON exclusive. Make some noise. Happy New Year 2022. Yes, yes, yes. I'm in the house with my man Kirk, all the way from Philadelphia. Philadelphia. Oh, what? He represents. Oh, damn. Yes, sir. Yeah, man. I see you had a party. Oh, it looks like you did.
Oh yeah, man. It's a new year, new place, new everything. So had to do something.
Sweet, congrats. That's what's up. That's what's up. I see the flag in the background. I see you rocking it too. I wanted to wear my sweatshirt that you gave me, but I messed around. I think it's in the wash, but there you go. You represent. We both represent. So that's what it is.
Oh yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, always represent. Always represent.
Oh wait, and on that note, man, thanks to you for even doing this, because you are my first official interview of 2022. Know that. Yeah, for real though. For real though.
Make some noise for that.
Make some noise for that.
Yeah, man. Thank you, though. Thank you for reaching out, man. That was amazing.
And I've been meaning to get back with you since first ever. We did that pop-up interview sometime last year or whatever.
Shouts out to my team. We actually have a team now, Andromeda Retro, and we also are going under Andromeda Gaming. We've created a little umbrella. So we now have a team, an Apex team. We actually have a Nucleus Esports. Shouts out to them. They're doing visual, audio. They're doing their own thing. If you need music videos, we got that too now. We got a nice little umbrella under us. So when it comes to the visuals now, I have a graphic design team that we can go to. We also help out other gamers who are looking for graphic design. So always shout us out for that if you need anything. So we got a lot going on now. It's just different, but it's still Andromeda's my Apex team. They're actually from Florida.
Now what is Apex? Explain, because I don't know.
Apex Legends is I guess you could say it's an esports game, but it's also a regular casual player game, and it's three. It's a team of three versus other teams of three, and almost like a Fortnite style, like with the map, it shuts off and shuts down, but it's 3-on-3s or 3 on multiple threes. And my team though started as an Apex team. They're content creators, so they create logos. They went to school. They actually have degrees in graphic design and art. So like you're getting it from some of the best people, not just people. Yeah, doing that, they came to Philly. They repped out Pennsylvania, and now they're in Maryland. So they moved to Maryland, and now they're doing big things in Maryland. So we're moving around. That's what I'm saying. Like we're shuffling, but we're everywhere. It's kind of amazing.
That's dope. So give them a little bit about who you are, who Kirk is. For folks
my name is Kirk Clements. As we've shouted out, I do Bloodsucking Gamers. We are an esports team, but we also do other things. We just want to basically be the consultants of esports. So we try to help connect people where they need to go, as much as help them work on their game. We can connect you with coaches. We can set you up with tournaments, which shouts out to Who Runs Philly 2K. We have a tournament coming up at the end of the year. Look them up. That's for a 2K tournament. Shouts out to Nucleus Esports. That's another group. That's the group that does the video production. And what we do is not just do tournaments, but we put people in the right places. So even if you're not in the tournament, and I tell people this all the time, sometimes being in there creates a vibe. And also shouts out to Who Runs Philly 2K, because we just did a tournament with Oskino Vasquez from State Property.
Okay.
So shouts out to them as well, but that's what we do. We also connect with people that are doing things that are trying to help out the community as well, not just on the level of gaming. So we've stretched out a little bit.
No, that's dope, man. That's dope. That's what time it is. So basically,
bro.
So basically, when you say esports, for folks who don't know, I'm covering up that Canon logo and putting something representative of something I'm part of my history.
Yeah.
I ain't advertising for them if that show up. I got an old high school. This is from my high school, Mays High. Shout out to Mays. But people will feel that in Atlanta. That's way better than looking at Canon through this damn thing, right?
Shout out to the Raiders.
You know what I'm saying? But yeah, so but basically, man, esports, when you say esports, because that rings a bell to me, are you talking about?
So the esports is basically electronic gaming. It's another form. It's where you play World of Warcraft, Pokemon falls in it, Apex, Fortnite, all those type of games where it's competitive gaming. But it's also different levels of competitive gaming. So you can have esports, which is around the corner at your local gaming lounge. that's playing a game in a small tournament, or you could be like Fuse playing out a stadium. So there's levels to esports, but they're all at the same time be competitive, and you're actually playing like Street Fighters and things like that as well, fighting games. You could, enter into this world. Now that's where we help people out. There's levels. So it's kind of sketchy on what we started doing. I'm not gonna front because I was trying to help some players, and I realized helping players and get to places is not always the best thing. Sometimes directing players to where they need to be and not, being the management and things like that is where the game and the sports need to be. Like, it doesn't need to be somebody trying to control a player to tell them you need to be in this sport, you need to play. So now I've learned in esports there's a little bit of a different approach to it. Where there are other people that probably do approach it like that, but they have also put a lot more money into it, and now it's an investment. Whereas we don't want to invest in the sport, we kind of want to invest in the players, and that's how we got connected with Andromeda and Nucleus and all of them, and found out what their talents are, so we can also bring those talents to the world of esports. So it's more direction. Some people can't play everything. Just keep it real. You're not always be on the level of FaZe, but if you want to walk into FaZe, you have another gift to give.
Okay, so now you keep giving me lingo that I don't know about. So that's
gift to give.
Now, what is FaZe? What do you mean by when you say you walk into FaZe?
Oh, my fault. FaZe. FaZe is a group. It's a group. My fault. FaZe is like a group that plays esports. So it's like another team. Okay. So
and
it's
really
like people.
Big. They're like one of the best.
They're really big in esports. So I forgot. Some people who are like in the esports know who they are, but. They're just a team. They rotate out. They shift people. Things happen with them. It's just like every other business.
I get it. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, I mean, but I'm glad, as you know, we're going to talk about CyberPunk 2077. That's the main focus of this conversation. But I did want to make sure people understood how deep you are in this whole gaming world, and you're doing it by using all this lingo. And it's funny because as we start talking about the game, I'm gonna bring up some of the lingo in the game and how it's its own immersive world.
Yes.
And to make the point of how that these are really realms, man. Like,
Yep, exactly. So I like when people do that.
Word. And both of us will end up with more followers because of that, I'm sure. There'll be people who'll be like, I appreciate that, man. This was the realest one I ever watched. Most people, they just talk all over like we all know what they talking about. Man, I don't know nothing that do with talking about.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like that's all social media now.
Seriously, bro. Yo, on a side note, and I'm good for tangents, so it ain't no problem.
Go for it, man. Go for it.
You know what I'm saying? As long as we keep bookmarks on where the hell we were at. Let's say something.
No, I got you. I know where we at, but keep going. It's funny.
So my thing lately just been frustrating me because I like it because I see where it's going, but I don't think everybody is fully gonna be aware on purpose of where crypto is going, because this whole crypto thing and NFT and all of that, and when you realize that there's so much money to be made and so many ways to get into it, but and I'm tying this in with CyberPunk, by the way, because
I'm with you. I already feel you. Continue.
Because
I'm already there.
Because when I first heard about what crypto was, I was just like, okay, this is another rich man's playground, rich woman playground for folk who already have certain kind of privilege and can just basically go to the digital casino and throw a couple of thousands and see if they get back hundreds of thousands, throw a couple of 100,000, see if they get back a couple of millions, whatever. But for the rest of us struggling every day to just figure out how to pay the rent or keep the markets under control or whatever, we want to understand it, we want to get into it, but man, it's dangerous. And as they use the word volatile in the market of anything with investments, it's like, dude, that's an understatement. Like when I first tried to play with it a little bit in like 2019, I never forget, just before everything hit the fan in 2020.
Oh, I got a story for you then. Come on, let's continue. I got a story for you.
But bro, I messed around and I'll never forget this day. I went to run some little errand. I'm sitting in the car and I'm constantly checking my Cash App because I was doing it through Cash App, whatever, And that's another thing. Like, I mean, I still use Cash App, but like, why is it now? Because of all the damn. It's like somehow they've been glitched and bugged so much that people are scared of that. Like you say that now, you say, hey, send it to my Cash App. People are like, no.
Yeah, it's another program. It's just another program. That's all it is. We can talk about that too, but continue. I get where you're going with that.
But I was watching my money go up on Bitcoin that day. And I ain't talking about a lot. I'm just saying, I mean, a lot to some
Yeah,
people
you
anyway.
check in.
I was literally playing with some bill money, hoping to get 2 bills covered. You know what I mean? Knowing that I was taking a risk. And that shit was going up like every hour. I was like seeing it. I said, oh my gosh, what the, yo, this is what people feel like when they get in it. And it feels good. And I was getting all hype, man. I mean, I literally went in the store and came back and it made like $60. And I was losing my mind. I was like, what is going on?
Like you played a little scratch off. It feels like you played a scratch off.
Digital scratch off and hit, right? But then by the next day, it was dropping just as fast. I said, oh hell. So I started pulling
That's
it.
about the
Right. And I remember I paid like, I remember I got at least like a few hundred and something one time for a couple of months. And then I started hitting that issue and I said, nah, let me stop playing with my money. And I basically pulled everything out. So then now it's getting hot again, at least for it's never stopped being hot for those who make money. But,
all right. That's why I said I got a story for you, man.
Go ahead.
So with the market, it's not it's about trends. So once it's like when you learn the stock market, that's what I had to do first. I'm glad I did.
Right.
Then you start learning a little bit about trends. So back in when Bitcoin first came out, it was like 2010, maybe a little bit before that. I remember people ordering Domino's and getting Pizza Hut because they were using it for the internet. They were using it through the computer, .coms, all that stuff, to pay stuff without having to put their credit card and things on. Okay. I remember it was little increments. Then what happened was Silk Road came out and the dark web came out. And people started using the coins for everything. I can't even talk about half of it, but you understand where the coin started to go. And
again, everything we saying gonna end up relating to CyberPunk.
I'm on it. I'm with you.
Oh my gosh! Wow.
So once the coin started to circulate in that market, it started to gain, I guess, more value because it's everybody can use it around the world. Started to gain more value. I remember about 2015, maybe 2016, somewhere around there. I put in on early Coinbase when Coinbase first came out.
Okay.
I started bidding. I watched Bitcoin. It was at like 14,000 when I put like, you could put percentages. I put like $200, $300 in Bitcoin.
It was 14,000 per coin. Oh my god,
bro! Listen to the story.
You know, I remember when it hit 50 and made the record at the 50. So anyway,
we're gonna get to that. So I put in about $200. I put in some money with Litecoin. I put in a little bit in Ethereum. I put more in Bitcoin though, because that was what everybody was talking about. But at the time, Coinbase only had those 3 platforms. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna use those 3. Yeah. Watched it, let it chill. I jumped into a couple other currencies, threw a little bit percentage in there, let it chill. About 2018, going into 2019, it was at 17,000. I was like, man, I left it in here for about 2 years. It didn't really go too far. And at the time, I got my apartment. I was like, man, I got to pay rent, blah, blah, blah. I got a little bit of bread off. I came up with extra, a little bit. So I was like, cash it out. Swear to God, my girlfriend would pop up and tell you. 1 month later, it jumped to 40,000. And that's when I was like, what? Like, I had that face, like, what? And that's when I was like, what's going on? Like, I felt, you feel like you really lost, like, but you didn't lose, but you feel like,
so I wasn't out there when it did this.
Yeah. So what I did was I took a little bit extra money, started investing in stocks. I was like, man, I'm not going to have a heart attack over this. I'll invest in some actual stocks. That's when I started learning about stocks and things. Started putting money in stocks. About a year ago exactly, around January, I went Ripple or Tron, one of them went up. And I had a little bit, I put in like $1. At the time I got so much, it came up to like $400. It was more than $1, but it came up to like $400. I put out $400 from them and then reinvested in Ethereum. I started reinvesting in Ethereum. And then I started watching how Ethereum started working. And it was a small amount, and I started watching how Ethereum started working. So I started looking at the other coins. When them trends started happening, what happened was when one went up, when Bitcoin hit that 50,000, like you were saying, everybody followed, and I watched it. And when it dropped again, everybody followed. So I slowly started putting a little bit of increments, not a lot, like $20. Here's $20, stuff you're not really worried about. And that's what I started telling people. You don't know what it is, but I started looking at it as it's $20 I would spend on something else. Just put $20 every 2 weeks in there.
Mm.
$20 every 2 weeks. Don't look at it as I'm gonna make $1 million.
Right.
Look at it as I'm investing my $20. If it comes back as $20, I still get back my $20. Like that's how I've been telling people to work it. Don't blow your load. Throw thousands of dollars away. Pay attention. If you start noticing it's going up a little higher, all right, let me throw another 20 in there.
Right.
And slowly let it work its way.
Exactly.
And eventually, you don't know, but a year, 2 years from now, you look at it like, damn, there's like $10,000 in there. What did I?
Yeah.
And that's what it is. And who knows? Some blow up. Some of the coins blow up. You got lucky. You already had it. You don't have to look at it as a loss or anything. But when people look at it as I'm trying to get tons of money back, that's what I learned from the stock market. It goes up, it goes down. It's always gonna. People like this. When you hear that word, the stock market crash, it crashes probably twice a day. Like it's not. It's just what it does. Right. So it's the fear, not really the coin. It's almost like they're working off fear. They know you're going to sell because you're afraid of where the price is going to go. So when you do that, the rich people buy.
Right. Yeah, man. Yeah, exactly. And it's like, it literally is like, you know, the big ballers at one table in the casino and everybody else is trying to crowd around and watch the game. And the closer you are to the table, you know what to do. The further you back in the room, I can't see what he did. I don't know what he did. You guessing, you going out. That's literally what it's like. You're like, you the folk waiting there, or you at the door.
Well, that's the next part. Those people crowding around that table, I say this all the time. Once there's people crowding around the table, go to another table. That means everybody's on to it. Time to move on.
Exactly.
It's Bitcoin it's kind of gone. It's not gone, but you get what I mean. If you invest in it now, it's a waste of money. You can invest in something a lot smaller and get a larger profit. If you sell your cards right. I would say Ethereum, possibly. I think that's probably my favorite. They have a lot of gas fees. But also look into crypto. They just bought the Staples Center. That's a trend. They just bought the Staples Center for what, 900 mil? Something crazy.
Damn.
Something crazy.
Wow. So we give you flat chips here on ONYXCON, but don't take them literally, because that's not what we're about. We are.
No, we don't take it literally, but we pay attention. That's all it is: observation and recognition. So.
Right.
Yeah. So I'm just saying.
Right. I feel you. But man, that's beautiful. So like that literally leads me right into the world of CyberPunk 2077. I got my little book that came with the game, just so I can have my notes available if I need to reference something and say the right word.
Go.
I can feel it in your voice, and I love it. Let me make sure I give total homage and props to the legend that made this possible, Mike Pondsmith. To know that was a black
1988,
man. Come on, man. When I found out that Mike Pondsmith, a black man, from the Bay Area, I don't know where he was born and raised. I think that's where he was born and raised, but I know he lived a lot of his life there or whatever. And you know, what really made me want to get this game was an article, and I think it was PC Gamer magazine. I was just in the grocery store, and I messed around and saw that cover or something talking about CyberPunk. I was like, what is that? So I look at it and I read the whole article, and I was so blown away, because as soon as I saw his picture, you know, anytime we see us, anybody of African descent direct involved in something this major, I'm losing my mind. I'm like, wait a minute, he did what? And it's like, and it brought back memories, because, you know, I'm old enough to remember, I was never really into tabletop gaming, but I go in the comic book shop and I go in the gaming section just to look at the boxes, the cover art. I ain't give a damn
artwork.
I literally bought a couple of games and never even played them, just because I wanted to see
the artwork.
I just wanted to see the art in the book. That's it. So I can remember the cover art to CyberPunk. I remember the illustration of the dude peeking around the corner with his gun or something. And I was like, looks cool. Never played it, never wanted to play it. I just like, it's like walking through a gallery. I saw a beautiful game. So when I remember
the story there,
right. And so when I remembered that, it jogged my memory, and I said, all the way from there to now, this man gets this game. That alone was so profound to have made something back then. And this is somebody who, you know, Mike actually was in the video game biz. I don't know if you knew that.
I read him. He's actually in the game on the radio. You can hear him talking. I think his voice is on one of the radio stations. So he's. I'm saying, like, back in the day, like I'm saying in the early stages of like Nintendo days, so to speak. He worked at a gaming company. He did make games, and then, you know, went on back to his love with the tabletop thing with Talsorian. I think that's the name of their company that makes the tabletop, the original game. And
Falsorian Games or whatever, which still functions. I mean, they have one of those websites that you look at and you wonder if it's even active because it's kind of a little old school the way it's real basic.
Like, wow, they didn't change this in years.
Yeah, that's right. But it's still active, and they obviously still kicking because I mean, when he was approached by CD Projekt Red, this Polish gaming company that also made The Witcher and these other major properties, literally, I think I read way back that they're one of the either the or one of the wealthiest gaming companies in the world. Like that's how they're
Really?
yeah, like yeah, like literally yeah, like. Look
I'm
it
gonna
up.
check this out. Yeah, I'm gonna definitely look this up.
Check my facts on that, but I read something like that. I don't
Yeah,
know.
I'll wait.
It could be an old number, like a couple of years back, they were number one. Or
No,
something.
but I believe you because of the talent behind it. Like if it wasn't like it's an extreme talent, and also with his talent, that like you said, it was great to see somebody that's like us. But when you realize when it was done, it also makes it feel a lot more powerful because you're like, wow. Exactly. And it's almost like even though this shouts out to CyberPunk, but even if CyberPunk is hated by a lot of people, and I will give them whatever they want, they answer, they have to give him his roses. Like they have to be like,
and that's why I'm starting this off like that. That's why I'm starting this off like that. I got a lot of issues with the game, but that's not with him because at the end of the day, even my issues with the game. Let me say this: even my issues with the game, I still give it personally A plus, A minus, excuse me, A minus, strong minus. The pluses are there. That's why I still give it an A because I see it was such it bit off so much they couldn't do it, and that's why it's got full of glitches. I sing the song, I made the song. I say these glitches is loyal because on this game these glitches is loyal. Well, they ain't going nowhere. I don't care how much.
You got to grade it. So this is why I feel a certain type of way. You have to grade it based off of the first time you experienced it, but how you experienced it. And that's where it becomes very divisive. And a lot of people that'll be like, it was shit. Yeah. Other people, like I played it and I had no real experiences. I played it on a PC or I played it on a PS5. And when I played it, it was a fun time. And other people be like, it's a piece of shit because I played it full of glitches. Not saying the PC and the PlayStation have glitches. But there's an element of I can handle this glitch versus I can't even turn this game on. Right. I get that.
So who have you seen say can't even turn the game on? Is it the PC folk or the PlayStation folk?
The PlayStation based people. The people who have the original PlayStation, some people with the PlayStation 4 Pro. But to their defense, I played it the first time on a PlayStation 4 base. The very original PlayStation 4. Okay. And even though I did have glitches, I did have frame rates. When I started the game, this is me as an old gamer. This is what I was about to get into. Old gamers versus new gamers. I've seen pixels. I've seen boxes. I've seen, like, to them, they're amazed by the glisten and the glow. And I'm sitting there, the first thing I'm doing is like, what's the mission? Where am I? Like, I felt like as soon as I went into the world, I wanted to know where I was going to go and what I was going to do and what I was going to see. Yeah. But I get what they mean where it's hard to stabilize that because everything's frame rate is breaking, dropping, trying to come in. That's difficult. And even if the game shuts off a little bit, because mine didn't shut off. I know people's completely middle game shut off. It's crazy. I've heard people say it multiple times. I actually got on a rant on Twitch with somebody who was like, this game's a piece of, hold on. This game's a piece of crap.
My gosh.
The game's gonna shut off. I spoke with him for 2.5 hours and I was like, this game didn't shut off while I was on Twitch arguing with you. So I felt some type of way, like it works for some people and some people, it was a weird, that's why I felt like everybody's different on this one. Like everybody's different. Exactly. But this is where I said also it's a little bit of an age thing. I knew he did the tabletop. I was born in '88. So the year, it also fascinates me when stuff comes out in the year I was born.
That's dope.
Like yeah. But you get what I mean? Like,
and I'm even more seasoned, so this is amazing to me. Cool.
Yeah, but you get what I mean. You know, when you see stuff that came out the year you were born, you feel attachment to it.
Yeah.
So even when I was playing it, I was like, this is cool, and I already understood what it was supposed to be. And that's what separated me from other people because they got into the game and started thinking Grand Theft Auto, Far Cry. I can steal cars. I can do. Their mind was based off of the original, functions of gaming, the formulas. Where I looked at it when I started playing, at first I thought that way, But then when it clicked, this is based off of a tabletop game.
Yeah.
It changed my aspect of how I played it. I started walking around more, just looking around, checking out the restaurants, starting to go into the little underground clubs, starting to like. So when I started doing that, it just started getting away from the missions and everything, and just started to absorb the world itself.
Right.
I got hooked. That's when I was like,
then you liking it, exactly. So there's my thing that I would say about it is that for me with the glitches, first of all, I'm playing on a PlayStation 4. I assume mine is, I mean, I bought my system. It wasn't the first one, so I guess it's one of the later models or whatever.
The Pro, probably, something like that.
Yeah, it's not the super something. It ain't got like 3
the 4K one, yeah.
It might just have 1 terabyte or whatever. I don't care because I don't really download games. I still buy games. I'm a dinosaur. I like to have a CD.
I can have a conversation about that as it is, but yes, I'm the same way. I have to have a physical copy.
I like to be able to hold this up and say this came out of the doggone sleeve, and I can go in here and look at the pictures and read something versus always looking at another digitized screen.
I want to grab all my stuff.
You know what I'm saying?
Physical games because
But so
you like to have if something goes wrong, you have it, like no matter what.
Come on, tangible items, bro. Tangible items.
Tangible.
I couldn't get my Wi-Fi up for a month, and it didn't matter because I could still play stuff as long as I had electricity.
Yes.
I got my DVD. I got my DVD. I can watch my movies. You know, it's like, but y'all out here got everything floating in the cloud where you ain't got.
It's on Netflix. You can't watch it with the internet. Yep.
Nothing. So y'all
exactly.
understand, man. And that brings me to the 3 identities in the game, and I love the concept of this because in a way it's again, I always remember it's just like looking at Marvel movies or any of those that were made in the 60s or something in a comic, but then they bring it to this new, you get a whole new generations because you got teams of people in their 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, whatever, working on a game, working on a movie, and everybody's bringing their life to it. So it looks like everything it should. I know Mike Consmith was probably losing his mind the first time he was brought out to Poland to see this is your vision through our eyes. Oh, great one. Because they worship this dude. That's why it even started. Because they said, man, we love your game. We used to play this. And then they make it into this, like make it real 3D. Man, this is visually it's insane. And
but you understand that it's based off of a concept that they loved growing up, and not based off of what the game formula is today. It's based off of what you
still got to give it an A, even with all its problems.
I'll give it an A- because I feel like there is going to be. I know they're doing expansion packs. A lot of the glitches for me are fixed. I don't really experience them that much.
I'm still experiencing, bro. When you said the game cut off, I wish I had a video to show you how many times I've seen the screen go blue and the little bar trying to recoup. And it's gotten to the point. It's gotten to the part, Kurt. I'm literally like, it usually happens when I'm driving, right? Like I would have just taken out a game or something and gotten a bunch of loot, and I'm trying to find a drop-off box, and I'm doing something. I'm doing something the game wasn't ready for because I'm just doing it so fast, I guess, that it's like you can feel you're going faster than the game wants you to. So at a certain point, you start seeing stuff get digitized and blocky, and it's like almost like in real life when if you ever fainted, how you look before you faint.
Yeah. It's like it blurs up.
As soon as that starts happening, I stop. I love motorcycles because I can't drive in a car. Cars suck.
Same.
Oh my God! I save my as soon as I can.
I got the Akira looking one.
dude, I need that one. I want to buy that one, but that thing is so expensive. But you know, I'll just go up. I'll find some. I'll go in Kabuki, find some tiger claws, and steal their bikes in a minute.
Always steal their bikes. I even steal their cars sometimes just for the cover. Like I do all that stuff. But when you said it was blurred, I was laughing because I was like, my issue was I couldn't get the camera to switch for the longest. I could not switch if I got in the car, I'd be trying to switch the camera, holding the button, and not switch.
And then you crash. And lo and behold, you hit a citizen. If you get any just non-affiliate resident.
I'm so glad they fixed that cop glitch.
Oh my God.
When they just pop up in the room, you're like, what? You be sitting there, you turn around, they in right in the corner shooting at you.
You cannot beat the cops, people. I hope you know.
They fixed that though. They did fix that. I will give them that. But yes, that was.
You can run from them and get far enough away they might not chase you. But if you ain't really hauling behind, and don't be loaded down with a bunch of junk because you ain't gonna be able to run. And then
get in the car. Get in the car and to steal their car, cover, run. Just run.
Oh my God.
But yeah, but hold on. So what you're talking about is also something that I think is something that me being older kind of makes me feel, it makes me laugh at the newer generation. I'm not disrespecting the newer generation because this is no disrespect. I love it. You're going to gain nostalgia.
Yeah,
That's what makes me laugh about shit like this. Sorry. Because the game is all these bitches, and they're like, this is the worst game ever. They're going to remember this game because a lot of the kids that I'm going to play this game and be like, oh man, this was hysterical. Like the cops kept popping up, and they're going to have so many conversations, but right now it's that conversation like, this is terrible. And I'm
exactly.
laughing like, you're gaining what we gained when we were younger. Battletoads is terrible, but people say Battletoads, and you're like, yo, I remember that game.
You remember it because of all that
Yeah, like
practice.
so. There's certain things I feel like they're just going through, and that's why when you said the tangible items, they're going through the digital age. They're about to miss out on tangible items,
Absolutely.
and they're actually trying to insult it. I'd rather download it. All right, well, when you have no internet, try to play what you got. Like you can't do it.
And if the pandemic don't teach you, you know, that's what I hate most about the fact we're still in it and people pretend like it's not happening. It's like 2020
Yeah,
can happen again. This Omicron situation is so real. It can shut down again, and you want to pretend like it won't. And if it does, you thought there was issues the first time. Imagine what else might have to go or might be on pause. Are you ready for anything? Kind of. So again, the three types of people you can play in the game: corpo, street kid, and
yup,
nomad. Here's my biggest issue with it. I love the three because they're so symbolic
yeah,
of general populace on the earth.
right? Yeah, class system.
But also just the concept of people who, if everything shuts down, I can go live in the woods. I know how to fish. I know how to hunt. I'll make it. So that's kind of my heart as an individual, just speaking for myself and what I relate to in the game. That's my heart. Then there's, because I love to be in nature any damn way. I don't even like city shit. You know what I'm saying? But I will go in the city because there's some things I can't get out of.
Yeah, it's the city.
Yeah,
you gotta go visit it.
And I live in and I'm so influenced by it that I'm not about to pretend that I'm not in a way city minded in a little bit. So street kid survival mode, got it, been there, still know it if I gotta have it.
Yep.
I relate to that. But then corpo money, not lifestyle in the sense
Yep.
of not mentality, but lifestyle, money and being affluent. Yeah, I want that. So I wanted to literally play all three. But what's funny is when I started the game, I started as a street kid, then I stopped it at one of the harder points and I tried corpo and I tried nomad. What's the damn difference? You always end up on the streets. I was like, this is whack. Why do they always take me back to the street? I'm doing the same missions.
So listen to this. So with the three types, this is what, at first I said the same thing. It's the same difference. Same main story. Remember I said I jumped in going for the main story. Did a couple side missions, nothing changed. What I did begin to notice, like I said, I started walking around, I started doing things. Yeah. You gained interactions. You gained certain type of interactions with different abilities, gain different knowledge, different info. So when people were playing the main story, it's not really going to change what type of info you're talking about as a street kid, as a nomad, as any of that. But as a street kid, me going into the nomad world, it'll pop up and it'll be like street kid's reaction. And you react and you get a different expression. So with that, you have to remember it's a tabletop game and they're trying to get you to, I guess, talk to these people to get you know, good background, good all that stuff that a lot of people aren't looking for in games anymore. They're not looking for that. They're trying
but it can be hella fun if you do it, depending on the
that's what I was saying. I started to really gain more of a love for it because so on Monday I was playing, I ended up having a conversation with a vending machine.
Oh yeah, like the one that talks, the friendly one.
Yeah, and he started having a whole conversation, and we started talking, and then the hooker or whatever, all that stuff, blah, 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 blah. But the reactions were different based off of your street kid. You could react regular and stuff like that. And it was stupid little conversations.
Yeah.
Now, nothing really changes, but the conversation probably fades a little bit. Or to me, it's not really based off of which direction you go. I think it's more based off of like how your mindset is to start off your abilities and stuff at the beginning of the game. Because I played plenty games like that. Kingdom Hearts is another one. It's stupid stuff people not paying attention to. Like you pick a sword, you pick a shield, you pick a wand. Based off of that, you look at your stats, your abilities should be a little different based off your corporate. Now, I'm not 100% sure because it's changing as we talk. All things are becoming different. Like they've expanded, they fixed, like you said, you're not really fixed with the glitches, but the cop thing is fixed. A lot of the people doing the T-pose is fixed. So there's things that are fixed that they're working on, but they also realize it's not going to work that much on the PS4 if we're trying to put in all this expansion stuff. So they are trying to push it towards the PS5. I feel like a little bit more. Same thing as Xbox and PC.
That's interesting. So my problem with it is, so like I said, I'm a writer too. So you gotta understand, like, as if I'm playing a game, I'm playing it as an artist in all the ways I'm an artist. I'm looking at the visuals, which never fail unless it starts glitching. I'm looking at the character development and storyline, the way they interact, the way if I answer a question a certain way, I get a certain type of reaction. The voiceovers are excellent. I really like the voiceovers. The only thing I don't like about the voiceovers, like some people complain, I saw in some videos,
my voice is weird. Yeah.
they wish that V had options for. Or I was like, exactly. Like, why is it? Okay, here's the thing with that. Let's break it all. I got so many things. This is what,
Go for it, man.
It's so big. This is why I had to have some guests to talk about this. At first, I was gonna do a video by myself. I was like, I'm gonna look crazy, like I'm going schizo.
Yeah, you can rant while I'm listening.
And vice versa, because it's so much. It's so much.
No, I agree. Yeah.
When you are picking your character and when you're designing them, like the first thing I did, I made.
Pointless.
I tried to make myself, which I did pretty good actually. I actually got a dude that kind of looks like this. The only difference is his beard is way bigger than mine can get. Like I got his joint like a real Philly beard, you know?
Yeah, they don't have a barber shop.
Yeah, but I like it. It looked cool. But the mistake I made that I didn't realize, but people were frustrated about when I watched all these videos on Instagram, on YouTube. People say, but you can't change it. Whatever you do, gonna be it for the rest of the game. I said, wait a minute, what? Like, and then I saw what they meant. Like, I made his beard green just to be honest. CyberPunk gonna be funky and punk. So I made it green, and it looks cool with certain outfits. So nothing, I feel like, damn, that green. I don't want to have it green.
Yeah. So the items you pick up kind of do annoy me. It feels weird because I know they're random. I know they're supposed to be just all over the place.
Literally.
But at the same time, that's another thing that I just recently started doing. It's funny you mentioned it. I played the other day. I started crafting. Yeah. And when I started crafting and creating more things, I started realizing a lot of items I was picking up were not meant for me to wear, but I was supposed to break them down for components.
Exactly.
With those components, I build up the crafting, and the higher the crafting goes, the better the items. So again, it depends on how people approach this game, and that's also why I look at it.
I'm the opposite. Yeah. I hate craft. I've done it. I hate crafting, and I had to realize how it works because it's so ridiculous. It makes no physical sense. You take a burrito and break it down into something electrical.
Well, I started selling that stuff. I was like, items to be sold, use those items to buy. I started thinking like CyberPunk. That's what I was talking about, that tabletop aesthetic. Okay, I came here, I made $2,000. Let me sell all the stuff I got from there. Let me buy some of the high-end stuff, break those components down. Let me go to, like, it started becoming, I'm not here for that shooting. I'm not here for the killing. I'm not even really here for the story. It's more, I'm trying to survive in this cyberpunk world. Like, I'm trying to get these items to make more items. You couldn't afford the car. Like, remember you said that, to get that, you gotta hustle your way up. Like, and I started feeling that way after a while. There's times like I'll play and I won't really kill anybody, but I'll be running around stealing items, running to the machine, selling the stuff in the machine, getting the cash, running, getting the cyber arms, upgrading the cyber. Like, so I got the mantis jumpers now. So now I'm starting to feel in the world, not really off the story, but off, hey, I can run this way, I can jump up this way. I got the upgraded sniper. Anybody want to mess with me, I'll go distance, hit them from farthest. Like, I've become like, I'm living in this world, not I'm playing a game to get through these stories, because I think people also think, like, you know, you beat a mission, you get the best item in the game. I heard you don't really get anything. Like, you don't get anything.
Have you beaten the main story yet?
No, I'm on the last board and I stopped because I wanted to level up.
Homie, let me tell you. Okay. And anybody watching, if you worried about spoilers, forget it. This thing ain't nothing but spoiled bread over here. I'm just talking. It is too much out there anyway. You click on anything dealing with cyberpunk on YouTube, they're gonna tell you everything or show you everything. So
explain everything.
I swear. I mean, you know, and they say they're not giving up anything, but it's like, dude, you're giving up all kind of stuff. I remember when that happened. That's important. You know, it doesn't matter, man. Just enjoy it, look at it. Like, I was watching something before we started this interview just to see a different ending that I haven't tried because of whatever path I took. Because I've been trying to figure out how to get this ending where, did you meet Pan Am? Lord have mercy. I like Pan Am. Only thing I don't like about Penny is when she get mad, she's so damn moody. It's like, damn girl, calm down. What's wrong with you?
And then I so that's the other part. When I get in the car and let her drive, I let her drive. I'll sit in the car, I won't skip it. I'll just let her drive. And there's times like little things pop up, little conversations happen. So it is. Yeah, you're trying to immerse yourself into a world, not trying to beat a game. You're not trying to
and there's kill good writing in this game. As a writer,
that's what I mean. It keeps you going. It keeps you like, yeah, I want to check this out. Like, I want to, like, yeah.
Dropping some gems every now and then. Like I was like, I remember one night I had to stop. I said, well, hold on, wait a minute. Let me write that down. What did this? It was like some life lesson stuff for real.
Have you met the meditation master? And you sit on a rock and he charges you money, and then you go into this little world where it's just waterfalls and trees. And every time you pop up, he's gone. Yeah, there's random stuff like that. And I was like, what?
Where is he at? Like, this is what I'm talking about. I love it. Yeah.
Random stuff you find. And that's what I'm saying. When you start actually going out, like if you look at the map, there's so much stuff for a reason. There's stuff everywhere. So that's what I started doing. I was like, all right, well, let's talk to this guy, see what's up. Hey, you want to hear a song? He starts playing the guitar, which is one that people were talking about. But now there's other people out there that are doing it. There was one guy was getting hassled by a bike gang, and he's the sushi guy. And he was like, hey, I'll pay you money if you tell them to leave me alone. And I'm literally like, no, I don't feel like doing it. And you can answer it like that. I don't feel like doing it. Like,
so you didn't do it, or did you do it?
I ended up intimidating them, and they ran away. But what happened was,
I don't know if that was the same. Was it in the 6th Street gang area where 6th Street be?
It could be the 6th Street gang. I just remember I went to get food. He just started talking to me, and I was like,
so here's what happened with me on that same situation. It's hilarious, right? I think I know the one you're talking about. It's in the 6th Street gang area. And we got to talk about the uniqueness of the gangs too, because that's hilarious. And when I say gangs, I make it very clear. This is my problem with the game. It's brilliant enough to make it clear that there's those labeled as gangs, but they don't do any differentiation when they show you the little pictures of each group. When they show the NCP, it's a gang basically.
The Tiger Claws and all that.
They making a point. The corpos are gangs, and then the street folks is gangs. It's all gangs.
It's like, all gangs everywhere, all the time.
They making a real point about that mentality and what terrorism really is. Not this whole. They play the game in the story, but they make it very clear that they see it all as for what it is.
It's analogies and metaphors for a little bit.
Brilliant writing, like I said. But so didn't mean to interrupt you. So also, what I felt a little bit of, and it kind of that new movie took away from it a little bit. That Matrix Resurrections took away from it, but that I didn't see it yet.
I don't want to talk about it, but that cyberpunk, but also futuristic, but also like it's just its own little world. Like the Matrix is supposed to be a reality of our world, but when you watch it, it's not. Obviously, it's a whole, it's an exaggeration of our world. So when I was playing Cyberpunk, that's how I felt. It's an exaggeration of our world. With all these mechanics, with all this great, everything's still the same. Like nothing has really changed. So that's what I felt about it. Like that's what I said, when you get embedded in the world, you're like, oh, okay.
That's why you gotta admit, that's why I say this game gets an A-, because it still get a plus for what it wanted to be, and what I know it has become the opus. It raised the bar on these types of games, no matter what, even with the glitches. And I truly think because of the kind of company that CD Projekt Red is, and the fact
it's going to be fixed.
They're going to fix it all because they've got too much integrity about what they do. They want to make sure it's the game they said it was going to be, even if it takes 2 more years to make it that. I think anybody who bought into it, and I was lucky because I'm the dude who will wait for your thing to be $20. Well, that's when I bought it.
I have to play at the beginning, so I can fit in with that opinion. As a gamer, I do have to understand it, but I was gonna wait too. I'm one of those people that begin to wait for things, but that was one of those things that was so hyped. I had to at least listen and be aware of what they were talking about.
Most definitely.
A lot of people, like, that's where it becomes divisive. There was so much backlash when it came out because of the glitches and blah, blah, blah.
I get it. If I paid $60, this would be a different conversation right now.
Well,
they owe me.
This is where it gets crazy. That's consumerism.
Right.
I tell people all the time, that's not their fault that you brought into something that was hyped up through consumerism. And they think it is because that's how business works. That's how it's supposed to work. It's just how the formula is. Even if it's like, that's why I'm not gonna talk about the Matrix, but even if it sucks, you're supposed to have an opinion about it. That's what makes things good or bad. Well, most games that are coming out now, I'm not going to hate on any of these games. I'm not going to hate on them. People listen. I'm no disrespect towards them, but there's games like Forza, which is amazing, but they're like 10 out of 10. I'm like, I don't think it's a 10 out of 10. But nobody can disagree with it because it's amazing. But the level to me change it a little bit, and that's where things like this come into play, where people are like, it's good or it's bad, and I'm like, it's not any really thing. It's how you take it in. It's how you play it. It's how you feel about the game. But also, if you pay $60, that's you also putting your expectations above a reality, and that's life to me. Like, you might have got hit with a little bit of a life lesson when it comes to somebody hyping you up and you're falling for the okie doke.
But at the end of the day, you're buying a product. So the bottom line is, even if I'm disappointed with the story and all that, I could deal with it if that was the issue. I'm talking about the glitches. If you buy, like for instance,
hold that story. I want you to talk about what you just said too with the glitches.
Right.
CyberPunk or CD Projekt Red has only made 3 games technically.
That's amazing.
Amazing, but people don't remember the first 2 Witchers. They remember the 3rd Witcher.
And I've never played The Witcher. I just know the power of the property, the franchise, and I understand what it is. Yeah.
Well, The Witcher is based on a book. It's all franchises type thing. Same thing as Cyberpunk, I guess. But it didn't start off the way we look at it now. That was also a game where a lot of people said the original had a lot of issues and a lot of glitches and a lot of problems. And eventually we got Witcher 3, which is probably one of the greatest games of all time. But we put somebody like them on such a pedestal that, again, we put our expectations above it. I get it's a product, but what products have we actually got? That's where it comes to me a little bit. You got one great product, but that's really all we talk about. It's not like EA, you got Call of Duty, Star.
I like your spirit, man. I need to clone you in the CyberPunk, man. I need to clone you into 20,000 followers, all named Kirk, that are fans of ONYXCON, because I ain't got to worry about none of my stuff being low budget, and all I could do is bring it out as it was, because he gonna still love it and stay rock with me until I bring it out. Right. So,
but that's what I'm saying. That's a fan. That's a real one. That's what they were, and they don't want to admit that's really what you guys are.
That's a real one. Yeah, and I'm one too. That's why, but I'm kind of fan. I did not want to be disappointed in what I was already in love with as a concept. Yeah. That I waited till it was $20, knowing it had glitches, so that I wouldn't be as mad as I know.
But that's smart. As a consumer, that's smart. As somebody who's running a game, I kind of have to know what's going on. That's how it worked with me. So good or bad, whatever. Right. But it also hurts me though. Is what really hurt me? It wasn't. Developers, whatever, we can argue about them all day. What really hurt me when I actually looked at it, Cyberpunk got all these awards before it even came out.
Exactly.
So how are people giving this game? That's what hit me. How can you give awards if it doesn't exist? So there's the real issue I got.
But you know what? But did they get pre-advanced copies of it? Or
how can you get a pre? That's what I'm saying. The people who got pre-advanced copies, remember, there was a review block. They could only play certain parts of the game up to a certain point. A lot of them got the copies that were supposed to be on PC, so they played a PC reviewed game.
Okay.
See what I'm saying? The PC is up to the higher standards. It's not PlayStation. But if you're a reviewer and you're playing on PC, you're not really thinking all of them are bad.
Glad you mentioned that side note, because I'm always confused as somebody who's a totally casual gamer. Can't afford to be hardcore like yourself. You about it. That's why I need people like you as a part of ONYXCON to help me talk the bigger talk, because I got too many. I'm expected to know everything, and I tell people all the time, even though I run a computer, I don't know
aspects of your areas. Yeah,
I still got my favorite zones as an individual, and I stick to them. But anyway, do you think PC versus console is always generally more efficient, better running, better graphics, better everything? Because you hear the PC people talking, and sometimes when I watch their videos, the stuff it looks. I'll be thinking, damn, I don't want to type on a keyboard. I'm sorry, I'm never gonna switch. I refuse.
Well, you
to
can switch to a controller. They can do that. I have a PC. I do play on
I
stuff.
Want to look at what I'm looking at right now. This is fine for an interview, but I don't want to be staring at my computer when I'm playing a game. I like a TV. You know what I mean?
No, that's fact. With a lot of the new computers, though, I connect it to my television. It's an HDMI cord. Get a splitter. That's how I work. But I'm in that world. I had to figure it out. But at the same time, when it comes to something like that, PC is based off the user. Some users want a bigger RTX, which is the graphics card. Some people want more memory. Some people want, more high quality videos with a better monitor. It depends on the user. Whereas a console, you're supposed to get the same experience as everybody else. That's why PCs get mods too. A lot of modders for PCs. Yeah, they modded the hell out of that game. Man, they modded the hell out of that game.
CyberPunk, when I look at people talking about mod, it took me forever to understand because I didn't know the lingo again. I'm like, what is mod? What is mod?
You want to tell what mod it is?
I knew mod meant modification, but I'm like, why can't I do that? And I realized, no, you can't do it on a console. It's all these hacker culture people in PCs that literally make the game they want, or the other people say they want. Like exactly. The other day I looked up, I said, why is it that I can't, quote unquote, stealing these games? I always say, this whole damn game is one big thief, so I never bring my real morals into this game. But I'm saying, if I could sell all the damn cars I have hacked, oh my gosh, bro, I would be a billionaire by now. But like, you can't do it. You can't do it on PS4. But in these mods that you can add to the PC version, they got it where you can take it to some garage. You can just do the whole game, be stealing cars, take them to the garage, getting paid for cars. I was like,
but see, that's making the experience that people want.
Exactly.
And that's what separated the company from the gamer. And that's where I get divisive with it. When you get past the glitchiness and all that stuff, and you look down to the bare bones, the actual game, because glitches and stuff, as much as they suck, they will be, you can fix it as patches, but you can't fix the story. You can't fix, that, what you just said, you have to modify stuff like that. But when you modify stuff like that, I don't hate on the mods. People who mod it do so much work. That is a job.
Gosh.
But for people that use the mods, it kind of sometimes throws me out because I'm like, well, then you're playing Grand Theft Auto. Like you're not trying to play this game. You're trying to play another game.
Does it open you up to real hacking by putting stuff on a computer that somebody else done made for a game that ain't legit? I mean, I'm just like,
that's the Rockstar argument. Grand Theft Auto's having this argument now. There's an argument. There's people that are suing modders. There's people that are trying to take down modders. But that's something Cyberpunk might change the game with. They might allow modders to fix the game as well. Who knows what might happen with CD Projekt Red? Again, people forget who they are. They're an independent company out of Switzerland. They are not EA.
Poland. I don't want Switzerland saying that ain't us. It's Polish. The company's
Polish. Sorry. On a rant. Thank you. That's why you are a fact checker as well.
I be on that kind of stuff. I try to be anyway.
Yeah. Sorry, close but no cigar. But yeah.
There's a whole bunch of folks in Switzerland like, hey, why not? We'll take it.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, thank you for the recognition. But no, but they're not American teams. Is what I was trying to get at.
Exactly.
You're not a big company that's, they're a little small company that's trying to do the best they can, even though they have tons of money.
I'm about to say, still one of the biggest. Period. Like, let me put it like this. I remember I looked up too.
All on a scale of
dude.
See you later, but yeah. I heard there's a couple things you can do with the world market.
I'll come to your Ripper shop. You know what I'm saying? My tune. We'll talk about that, John.
Yeah, we'll talk about that. Don't worry, I got the parts and everything. We got.
Yeah. Because man, like when their stock, I read that their stock started to plummet in the Polish.
It plummeted because of the trade
reviews and stuff, right? But I'm saying, just imagine if you did have access to a Polish market and had bought some of their stuff when it was good. Oh my God.
Well, that's the other part. Those investments, see, that's another thing. We're about to go back to investments, trades, and stocks.
Yeah. It's all related. This is the core.
It's all related. That's why I love CyberPunk. Everything flows. It's all related.
It's real. When we was talking about what you wish the game was like and what the modders are doing, because they hear these cries and they want.
I like the modders. I don't always like the people using the mod. It's different. Again, it's why it's become divisive for me, because I feel like you're using these mods, you're trying to play another game that already exists. like you could just play that game.
I'll never know because I'm too damn scary to want to use anything that seems like it could hack my doggone system and mess up my investment.
Oh man, I'm nervous.
I'm like, I don't even care. So, but what does get me though in the game with the storyline, just wishful thinking, just the I wish story of what I wish this were. The corpo, for instance, would be if I had two options of the game I'd most like to play. Not to say I don't like the Nomad idea, but whenever I did Nomad stuff in the game, it got a little boring to me because like when I went on the first couple of missions with Pan Am, you know, at first I was all enamored with, oh, she kind of sexy. Okay, they made her like the every guy dream girl because she looked
they pumped it up. Yeah.
Any ethnicity, she's pretty. You know, she's kind of brown, she's kind of Asian, she's kind of black, she's kind of white. She's
all over mixture, everything there. Yeah, the whole world's like that. But yeah,
you know, she done mastered the smoky eyes. She always got her nails done, even though she a nomad. I'm like, damn, who this?
Always working on a car. Like,
working on a car, but her pedicure is perfect. Her manicure. It'd be cracking me up, man. Like, and so
yeah, they put some work into that game, and I love little details are things I do like. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, little details.
The fact that you could flirt with folk, this frustrated me too, right? How is it that you start like what can be a romance with Pan Am? Then I found out it ain't even, well, in my opinion, I ain't gonna say it's totally not worth it. I've seen a couple of endings that were awesome, but what I know you had to go through to get to that, I'm like, man, please, I ain't got time to waste. Plus,
I do have an issue with that.
Yeah, I know. Get mine out because we both. I can feel it in your face.
No, you're right because I didn't even really. Yeah, go.
I'm gonna remember it when we talk about.
I didn't think about that. Like you're right.
Romance in the game, all right, and everybody's bringing their real life situations and perspectives to a game when you can romance a character. My thing is this: why is it the only two women you can technically romance in the game? From what I've looked online and not experienced. Whatchamacallit, the hacker girl who Judy.
Yeah, Judy.
But she's only for the girls, okay, right? So she ain't thinking about you. And you get this little nuance like she's starting to like you, but it ain't gonna work unless you playing as a girl. And then even playing as a girl, it's like I don't want to do that. I just so check it. Why is it the only time when I was curious about it, I said, so since this is an adult game and they have sexual innuendo and actual sexual behavior and stuff, I found out like literally the only things that go down is with the damn prostitutes. I'm like, I don't want no prostitute, and I don't smoke, and all the prostitutes smoke and all this stuff. I'm just like, this is disgusting. So I did.
And the Johnny flashback. Yup. I was about to say that.
I went to the damn whatchamacallit, what they call them, Joy Toy, the girl over in the Joy Toy area. Big Jig Street, and my character did that thing, and I laughed. I laughed. So I sent it to all my boys. We were laughing for days. I was like, dude.
I said, what's going on? Like, I didn't think it would go that far, and it really. I was like, yo.
We done came a long way from 8-bit and 16-bit, bro. Look at this.
And then every time I laughed, so I had to show my boy. I did it again, and he laughed. He was like, and then you wake up in the middle of nowhere.
Right.
And he's like, what the hell did that?
And that's the craziest part. Like, okay, she really must have liked me. She just left me in her apartment.
That's the thing. It's like you woke up in the middle of nowhere with a cigarette. Like, what's going on? What's going on?
Disgusting and funny at the same time. It's real weird. But
then that's why it's cyberpunk, I guess. Like it's the exaggeration of how we look at things.
I just have the option of, I don't like to play the game the way that I thought you could play the game because I thought you could talk to anybody, which you kind of can, but they only got 2 lines half the people and they don't say nothing. And some of them are rude. They don't, and some of them like trying to provoke you to fight them and stuff. And I'm like, I don't even want to.
It's not none of them. That's all right. I want to also express something a little bit that I have a personal feeling with, and we're gonna get this out because what you just said with the NPCs and all that stuff, that I don't think they were ever meant to really be what people thought that it was supposed to be, because the game was announced in 2012.
Okay.
And at that time, there weren't I think Far Cry 3 just came out. There weren't many games that are like what this game is now.
Okay.
When you start to like kind of look at little concepts that they were talking about, even though some things were exaggerated, some things were, lies. I feel like by the time we got to this game, You all right?
No, I'm trying to do a thing talk, and there goes the guy below, leaf blowing right near the window. Anyway, go ahead. Yeah.
They try to pump out the same type of everything. And that's what I see, like Battle Royale blew up. Let's pump out as many Battle Royale games as we can.
Exactly.
So like games that have the concept that CyberPunk 2077 has, which I'm not taking away from what came out today, but when you have a concept that was announced in like 2010, 2011, and then they show a E3 trailer in 2012 of an idea and people are pumped, it's based off of something that probably wasn't well around. We're still playing Ratchet and Clanks and a little bit of like Crash, but we're still playing those type of games. And this game was what it is today, and those games already exist now. We've already played games exactly like this. Destiny has the same customable, grab stuff, change your costume, stuff like that. Okay. So I feel like the appeal also was taken away by a lot of things that existed before it. And I want to call it like the Dune of Space Odyssey, like how Dune was the Space Odysseys. The book was amazing, but when it came out, lackluster. But we see Star Wars exist. We see all these things that were taken from Cyberpunk. So by the time Cyberpunk's come out, we've seen these concepts. They've already taken them. Yeah. And that's how I feel it is. Like, there's not from the glitches and things. Again, I have, we can go all day with the glitches.
All day, for real. Like, these glitches is loyal. Yeah. These glitches is loyal. That's all. I'm going to get Chris Busy.
But I was just trying to get to the heart of what they were trying to create. And I see that. And I think that's what I also connect to. I see what they were going for. I see things that were taken from it. I see where the concepts are. And I see where it sits. So that's like, there's better games. We're not gonna lie. There's tons of better games. You play any better game. But at the end of the day, you Cyberpunk's always gonna sit in that little round table as in a talk. It's always gonna sit in the round table as a talk. And that's why I said like Doom. Yeah.
I like the comparison to Doom. That's a good one, especially for somebody who, I can remember the original Doom film that had Sting in it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. But it has its followers.
I actually liked it for a cult film, and then I haven't seen the new one because I keep hearing all this stuff about all the black characters dying early in the game. I'm like, in the movie, I'm like, okay, never mind. I'll take my time on that. I don't.
It's a multicultural cast, but at the same time, what is multicultural in Hollywood?
Right. Everybody's gonna die early and all that garbage. Like, relevant to the plot. So there go another thing I like about this game is they do at least let you, generally you can damn near make any ethnicity of your character. You can make any mixed look, that you can imagine just about with all the facial types and stuff. And
yeah. I feel like it's a lot of mixed characters in the game, the NPCs and things like that. There's a lot of that.
I give them much credit on that.
Hispanic and Asian, you hear them talking in a different language and you can read what they're saying and pick. That's amazing to me. I think those concepts, they speak. They do sit out.
Right, that's what makes it, that especially is just phenomenal to me. And I did like the fact that, like you say, like if you get in a fight with Tiger Claws, you know what I'm saying? They're Japanese and you hear them speaking straight up Japanese. Like, cussing you out in Japanese while they kicking your butt. Trying to. And
you can read it and you hear what they're saying. You like, what?
I don't even have time. That's the only thing. That stuff pops up so fast. I don't have time to read it while I'm fighting, so I don't know what the heck they say.
Yeah, sometimes it is, yeah. But it's also funny because I don't know Spanish really well at all. But there's words I hear and I'll be like, I know what you just said, like curse words. Like what the? Like, yeah, I know what you just called.
Valentinos be going off on you. That's man. I don't even like fighting them because, for one thing, they're so damn tough. It took me forever to figure out what weapons take them down. That's a big ass problem. You talk about this to me is a conceptual glitch. How is it I've beaten the main story, okay? I've chopped up, mopped up, lava down, doggone Crusher, okay? Adam Smasher. Yeah. The Beast of Beast, okay? Adam Smasher, if you follow him, you know what I'm saying. That dude is invincible damn near, and I killed him to get to the very end. How can I beat that? Come back with, they give you gorilla hands, which are awesome. You can just beat anybody. As long as you're in close range, you taking down just about anybody. You throw a punch, they going down. That's it.
Nice. Now, nice. I see. That's now. Yeah.
They're more lethal than the damn mantis arms, at least the ones I have, because I went and got the mantis arms.
Did you get the ones with the phasers on them? The fire ones?
I think they're the chemical ones, and then I might have
something like that.
the chemical damage ones and the electric damage ones. I think.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think I got a fire one, fire blade. Yeah, I know what you mean. They're cool stuff.
I want those, but I'm gonna get them. But man, what I don't like is those are hella powerful, but the gorilla arms are more powerful than even those under certain circumstances. I'm like, but
you go.
The same fist got my ass kicked going up against a couple of Valentinos that are somehow super powered. I just beat some Smasher. How can I not beat a couple of regular street thugs?
So that's the thing I was trying to say about the main story. I don't think the main story matters where you're at if you're trying to beat the main story. I feel like everything else is based off of you leveling, getting your street cred, stuff like that. And that's what I'm like, screw the main story. Like, that's how I felt about, like, screw the main story. Everything else is amazing. And what you want to say about the man's arms, I use it to sneak up on people and do the back, right to the back. Yeah, that's my joint. Like, shing, throw them on the ground. Like, so, like, but that's so, like, but your approaches, that's what, like you just told me, your approaches, everybody's going to be different. Like with the Tiger Claws, I use a sniper rifle. I trick them. I line them up in a row. I can hit 3 at a time. I'm like, ding. A
group of them walk up, as long as they not hot, you know, like when they got the red over their head, it's yellow.
Oh yeah, no.
You know, they looking for some drama. They want the smoke. But if they just talking, I like walk up to them, because I try not to be a total coward about it. You know how the game is. You walk up behind somebody from their back and just shoot them.
They be mad as hell though. They be like, what?
So they notice me first. I walk up and I just stand there, and they be like, what are you doing? And as soon as they talk, I back up, throw one grenade, boom.
I've done it. Have you taken over the machines and stuff and used it against them yet?
Oh yeah, hell yeah, that's fun.
But I'm different approaches.
I'm just good at. So you've been doing more the hacking stuff. I haven't gotten to the levels where I can kill a camera, but it takes forever. You know, you be waiting on the bar to go up. Come back and do my laundry.
It's. So the hacking took a minute. Like all that stuff I'm talking about, nothing in the mission. I'm more walking around and stuff is just building up. It's just building up. And then eventually I was like, holy smokes, what is this? And I'm reading all this. I'm like, what the? So it is building your own experience in a way. And that was another, so I'm also gonna back off of the game because the glitches and stuff are god awful. But when those reviewers reviewed it.
Every time you say it, I gotta sing it.
But those reviewers reviewed it, it's impossible to me to get an actual perspective of the game in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
It is like a good year. Like I've been playing on and on.
Yeah, you're gonna spend a year on it, which it deserves. Again, the frustration to me is all the stuff we're talking about that's so cool could be that much. I'm just too much of a writer. I think of other stuff.
Yeah.
I had the time and the mind and the life and no worries to be a modder. I would come up with mods. People would be like, man, you got that Joseph mod? Like, because I'm telling you, why is it that, as for instance, when you do, just a random side mission for the NCPD, for the police, where you basically
you just kill a bunch of people and take some,
killing for hire, right? Why is that something simple and cool as, I always love the feeling of after I finally survive something super dangerous and get back on my bike and I'm riding off, and the music typically would be something so right for the moment, because I almost know all the little radio stations, but it'd just be perfect for the badass ride off. It feels like a movie, like I'm moving the movie. And
those moments.
Why is it when, you know, it makes you go to the news on a long ride, you can't go to any station, you go to that same dude talking for the news, it don't matter what. Why is it that it doesn't say just simple stuff? This simple little thing like a massive killing off of such and such street. Reporting say that the man was possibly the you know, whatever, you know, like make it cool as hell. Like, since you get to be this legend in Night City, all these jobs you do, why is it can't be? And why is it that, okay, based on how you get dressed, when I go, I love to wear mempos. When I get the mempos, the samurai face piece, I love that.
Those are dope.
Collection of those. When I found out you can get them off of the tiger claw, that's what made me hunt them. I started hunting tigers. So
that's kind of cool.
Bruh, when I got one that I can't even wear until I get my street cred all the way up. But anyway, the things are so cool, and when I wear them, I be thinking to myself, why is it? It's like a mocking of the game that they know you run around killing them, and I'm doing jobs for the lady who runs the damn tiger claw. How is it?
Giant plot hole.
Who?
Giant plot hole. Everybody knows who you are.
This is what I'm saying. Like, why would people not be like, there go that motherfucker who killed my boy?
But what makes it crazy is it does eventually happen. I don't know how far you got. I started riding around. I'll just be riding around and be like, dude. It's like if they're standing on the corner and they see you, they start gunning for. But it's not the people you're talking to. It's the gangs themselves.
That happened.
Yeah.
It only happened when I was hot off a mission with something with Arasaka.
Oh, you just did something, yeah.
Whatever. And when I hear a fan like you say, irregardless, man, it's gonna be nostalgic. I just want, that's why I said I wish I could clone somebody like you, man. An army of y'all for every time while I'm building to get to the point where I got this kind of budget. But I think that's why I have less sympathy for a CD because
that is also true.
You got the money. I did what I did with nothing.
But that's the point I'm trying to bring up.
This would be a power lunch for you. What I made this movie off of.
Well, but remember what I said. There's levels that we look at and put them on, like they aren't that high up. But on a level we look at it, they're high up. But they aren't high up. You know what I mean? They're not. It's our assumptions of something that isn't there.
Right.
Like their developers even said the game's not ready. But of course, stockholders want to make more money.
See,
it's all connected, and there's things that, they should have made a complete project.
Yeah.
I played games by EA, and I'm sitting there like, at least I can play this game. As terrible as it is, I can play. It has the heart. I'm not gonna say the games with EA, but there's a lot of them. But there's games you like, franchises. We're not gonna talk about the franchise, but you've taken the heart out of it,
right?
And you can tell this is for the cash.
Yeah.
Whereas, as bad as CyberPunk is, I feel like the developers weren't in it for the cash. The publishers weren't in it for the cash. So the people working on it are putting their heart, their mind, they're putting their soul in it.
Oh,
and the publishers are trying to get the money. And that's why I'm saying there's double standards. Yeah, double standards. Like one side is bad.
Now we get into the biggest conversation of what I want to see in the fantasy of the game reflect our frustrations in reality. Because to me, what you're talking about, one of the stories I played in the game that I really actually, again, just my taste, could have been better, but I like where they were going with it. And on a good note, but I don't know if you played this yet, so I'm not gonna give it away if you haven't, but have you played the moment where the guy who was in Johnny Silverhand's, and by the way, if anybody hasn't played the game, but you've seen Keanu Reeves' character, that's Silverhand. And
yes, he's actually good. He's well written to me. At first I didn't like him. He grew on me.
He got my nerves. I was getting so tired of him. I was like, you don't get out my damn head.
Grew on me. Like me, it's well done. You're like, shut up, Johnny. But everybody's like, I hated that guy.
Oh, he's a pain. And that's why I liked it at the same time, because it was good character writing. Because if I didn't,
good character, but character himself I hate. But the development. But that's what they wanted you to do. And when you realize like certain things, you're like, all right, you did make me hate him. Everybody hates him. I also hate him. Like it's but
wordy sometimes. That's the only problem with it. The writing is great. It's just sometimes it's too much conversation between you.
It feels like they added a lot of stuff in there to give him more lines. Yeah. But I also feel like
let's wear this out.
I also feel like if I was developing the game, I would do the same thing because it's Keanu Reeves. He is the draw.
I get it. At no point was I blind to what that was. You talk about
but I get you. I hate him as a character. The writing need to be written down, but it's also, that's what I'm saying. Like there's certain levels that one person wants, the publisher wants, the stockholders want. It's almost like a little bit of a way.
You gotta play the game.
That's not what y'all wanted. Like
game that you're playing, that other game. Yeah, and that's what I say about, like, just speaking from the fantasy again. There's a moment where the guy who was in his band when he was before Silverhand's demise, who, Johnny's just all about F this, F that, let's get the corpos, let's bring down corporations. All he focused on is killing Arasaka.
Adam Smasher, yep.
Now the dude who is in his band is like, man, be an artist, be a rocker. Like, you got everything. Why would you throw that away to go become some commando? So what, you had military history, leave that alone, keep making the messages through the music. You got all these fans who follow you. You'll make more damage with your music. He's like, no, bump that. We're going to kill him direct. We're going to bomb this. We're going to bomb
He went into terrorist mode.
Yeah, he went in terrorist mode. So on this dude who is not as, he's older now. And when you do this mission where you meet the kid who was in his band and he realizes that you have
Oh,
joined.
yeah, I do remember this. Yeah.
Okay, so you went to
I do remember this.
Okay, so okay, good. I ain't giving away nothing.
You could go. I was gonna say you could jump. I know what happens with the.
Okay.
So continue. Where? Yeah.
Did you get to the point where he calls you on all these side missions after y'all rock out? Because now he thinks y'all cool, and he wants you to help him take down this girl band because they're using his song as a cover, and as an artist, he's in song.
Yeah, I do remember that. Yeah.
Again, the politics of art and the politics of business and art. I like that.
Exaggeration of the idea, but it is that.
But what I didn't like was like he's such a pain in the ass. I kept wanting to be able to. I keep pressing the triangle because I want to pull him up.
Want to blow him up in the building?
I want to just punch him dead in the building. If you don't shut the hell up, who you talking to? Because he starts talking to you like you ain't nobody. It's like, dude, you hired me. I'm a killer. Why you talking to me like I ain't nobody, boy? Do you know I'll bust your head off? Like
a lot of people in that game do that. I'll be sitting there like, can I just shoot this person? Sometimes you can't. I'll be mad. I'm like, I can't pull the trigger.
You do that in this part. I was like, man, y'all knew what I want. But it ends on a good note because like he ends up talking it out with the girls and realizing they're all getting played by the corporation. So again, there's message. They got these strong
messages. Yeah, it's tons of messages.
And how, no doubt. Yeah. I appreciate you, brother. This will be.
Thank you. As always, God bless.
You too, fam. Thank you.
All right.